All right, Benny Ben, what are you talking about over here? I think this was yesterday.
Well, folks, as you know, there's a clip of me that once went viral, all about me asking a young woman why she couldn't be 60. She was arguing, of course, that a man could be a woman. So I said, well, you're 21. Why can't you be 60? Well, now people are actually doing this. They're actually claiming that they are trans age. I do wonder sometimes whether the left hears itself. So, over in Florida...
Okay, can I address this argument real quick? Okay. Let me start with this, okay? Every single person on the planet, every single person on this planet believes in trans age, okay? To start with. All of us think that trans age is real, okay? The issue that these people have is they don't actually use their brain when they're engaging with the question, and to be fair, people on the left has super muddied the water on what it means to be trans, okay? When we talk about what a trans person means, okay, hopefully, if we're still in the world of reality, okay, in the world of reality, a trans person's brain could be sexed differently than their body, right? So if that is the case, you're not just randomly identifying as something. There is a fact of the matter about the state of your brain, okay? When I talk about the trans age thing, when we talk about age is typically a signifier for other things in your life. For instance, when you hit a certain age, you have a certain amount of development. When you hit a certain age, then you're allotted a certain amount of rights when you get to the age of majority, right? So, for instance, at 18 years old, you have the right to own property, to go have sex, to go do whatever the fuck you want to do at 18 or 19 in some states. I think in Nebraska it's 19, right? However, in the United States, we recognize that some people's brains don't actually mature that way. In a way, we kind of treat people with severe mental disability as like trans-aged down to a younger age. We might treat somebody that has severe autism or crazy Down syndrome at 30 years old like they're only 6. You might actually do that. Or we might say this person is age 25, but because of a developmental disability, this person is treated essentially as a 15 or 16-year-old. Like this already happens in the United States where we revoke rights from people or we assign permanent guardians to somebody because their brain hasn't matured as much as like the age they have, the age that their actual body is. So when somebody's like, oh, like trans age, it's so stupid. We kind of do treat people as different ages based on like developmental delays or other sort of problems, okay? However, you can't just say that you identify as a different age, okay? Because that doesn't make sense, right? Age is typically, if it's not going to be a signifier for like actual like physical development, age is just it's just a number. Age is it's an actual thing that measures like how many times the Earth has gone around the sun while you exist on the planet. You can't just identify that away, right? I've been alive for 11 years. I can't identify as being alive for 30 years. It doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical. It's like identifying somebody with 4 or 5 arms. You can't do that. But for a trans person, the argument is that their brain is actually sexed differently. Their brain is sexed differently than their body. So it's not just that they're identifying as trans, it's that they are trans. Now, whether or not you believe in trans people, that's fine. If you say, oh, well, I don't believe that trans people are real. I don't believe that, I don't believe any of that. Like, that's fine. If you don't believe in trans people, you think it's all fake bullshit, that's fine. But at least engage with the argument as it is. That's the argument as it is presented, all right?
A gay parade has now been canceled. Why? According to Local 10, officials in a Florida city have canceled the gay pride parade and restricted other pride events to people 21 years and older in anticipation of Governor Ron DeSantis signing a bill meant to keep children out of drag shows.
How are brains sexed differently? Could you elaborate? The argument goes that your brain has some sort of sex. Most people's brain sex aligns with their body sex. Your gender identity, your gender expression are the same. That's like most cis people. But for trans people, for whatever reason, something has happened to sex their brain differently. Where their brain is sexed as female, even though their body sex is male, right? Now, whether that's actually true, or whether there's other like things at play, obviously is still to be researched. Like this is all debated. Like trans stuff is like pretty new in terms of research, everything. Nobody's got a concrete answer. But that's like in my opinion, that is the strongest argument for the existence of trans people. The self-ID stuff and all that other nonsense is just that. It's nonsense. It's garbage. Like who cares?
Pride Alliance for the Treasure Coast posted Wednesday on Facebook the decision to change this Saturday's Pride Fest events was made after multiple conversations.
How are brains sexed differently? Could you elaborate?
I just did. Dumbass.
Lucy officials. So, why?
Except not anymore, Destiny. The mainstream talking point is that you don't need gender dysphoria to be trans. Whoever says that is a fucking retard. Ignore them. Who cares? Those are extremist trans losers that are just trying to be trans because they're trying to collect a whole bunch of fucking virtue points on Twitter. Okay? The people that do all this stuff where it's like, The people that do all this shit where they're like, oh, like anybody can be trans, you identify, blah, blah, fuck all those people. Nobody cares about those people, okay? Fuck them, okay? They're all fucking losers. It's just a bunch of white people on Twitter that need some sort of oppression in their life to feel like they have an opinion that matters, okay?
Well, apparently, the DeSantis administration was cracking down on lewd displays before children. They basically said no assless chaps or displays of dildos, and in front of the kids. And the gay pride parade, instead of being like, okay, we'll fly our rainbow flags and we will celebrate gay marriage, they're like, nope, we're going to pull the parade. Do you hear yourselves, guys? I mean, I'm fine with it. That's what you want to do. But it seems like you're kind of like, is that if the purpose of the gay pride parade is the assless chaps and the simulated sex act in front of kids, and so you have to cancel it to the extent that like a law that says you can't sexually indoctrinate kids affects the parade? What does that say about your parade, really? I mean, meanwhile, other things that I like. The trans movement, obviously, is going to have some radical ramifications for a lot of other things in American life. One of those things...
the war is this law is probably phrased in such a way that it's going to be like, it has a nihilist overreach. It's going to be my guess, but I haven't seen that particular law in Florida, but...
Obviously, is going to be the question of age. So, you'll recall that a few years back, a very, very famous exchange, me and a college student, in which this college student took the position that men can be women, women can be men, and I asked this college student her age. And she told me her age. She said she was 20 or something, 21. And I said, why aren't you 60? And this, of course, went viral because I was saying, like, you can't change your age and you can't change your sex. So what are you talking about here? Let me ask you this. Okay, I won't ask you how old. I will ask you how old you are, okay? Because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So
I'm 22, so I'm probably only naive, right?
No. Why aren't you 60?
Could you not say time is perceived faster or slower for people in their head,
Why
which
aren't
is
you
why they feel like they're older / younger?
But we usually have a term for that, maturity. Like, age is pretty tied in, right? You can't identify as 4 feet tall or 9 feet tall. You can't identify as having 7 legs. You can't identify as being a different, like, years you've existed on the planet, right? How does Ben not realize how embarrassing it is to bring up a dunk on a fucking college kid? I mean, that's how he made his early shit, right? Destiny, the corollary of your trans age argument is that trans must then be a disease to be accepted. You can call it a disease if you want. You can call it whatever. People typically don't because it's I mean, it's an abnormality, of course. People don't because that's like a normatively loaded word. But I think you're trying to normatively load it, so you're not trying to trap me because you're interested in like an actual like intellectual grasp of the topic. You're just trying to get me to like admit that it's a disease. But like, sure, like let's say that I grant you that. Okay, sure, being trans is a disease. That makes you even more fucking retarded for saying people shouldn't be allowed medication to treat it, right? Like if you try to push that hard as a conservative to get somebody to say like, oh, then isn't being trans an illness? Like, yeah, it is true. It's an illness that's treated by atropine surgery. Like, okay. Or are you telling me now you do want to recognize it as an illness, but you don't want to do anything about it, which is even more retarded. It's the most retarded position, right?
60.
Is it?
And why can't you...
Ben Shapiro is a better man than me. There is no shot I would be able to watch videos of myself dunking on like randos from 8 years ago and not cringe into another fucking universe. Oh, I recognize this. I feel like I've watched this video before. I probably watched this video 6 years ago.
Okay, I won't ask you how old... I will ask you how old you are, okay? Because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So...
I'm 22, so I'm probably only
I'm
naive,
trans
right?
age. Totally explains why I'm racist and sexist. I'm a 80-year-old man in a 20-year-old's body. Justified finally.
Okay, because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So...
I'm 22, so I'm probably only naive, right?
No. Why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60?
Is it?
She hasn't, because the problem is she doesn't have a fully developed thing. Like, why aren't you 60? Well, because there's an underlying fact of the matter for my age, right? But there's also an underlying fact of the matter of the sex of the brain. That should be the argument, right? Like you said, this is a super viral video, yeah.
And why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
It's not the same as gender. You can't just...
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender.
Is it
Well,
though?
now I guess we've hit...
Is age significantly less important than gender? Like, if you could know one thing about a person, who did you fuck yesterday? And you want to know if it's right or wrong. Would it be more important to know the age or the gender? I feel like that's not the case that in all ages, or I'm sorry, in all cases, gender is more important than age. It probably depends a lot based on what we're talking about, right? Like, but I mean, like, I'm being a little obtuse now, but like, it's kind of silly to compare the two. Like, what's more important, your age or your gender? I don't know, that's kind of silly.
Hit the end of parody because now we have 60-year-old men identifying as 6-year-old.
Wait, someone in chat just said from a medical perspective. Even from a medical perspective, like, this person's kidneys are failing. Would you rather know their age or their gender? What, that doesn't, like, if they're 2 years old, that's a really big deal. If they're like 112 and they're like on their last legs, right? I don't know. It's just, it's a silly comparison, I think.
Old girls. This is a clip that was going viral on the Twitters of a 60-year-old man in Great Britain claiming that he is in fact a 6-year-old girl. Now, what's hilarious about this, and the reason why I put it in things I like rather than things I hate, is I think it does quite well expose the trans agenda. If this were a man claiming that he is in day 365 of girlhood, he would be getting all sorts of ad deals from Maybelline and Tampax and Bud Light. But since he claims that he's a 60-year-old man who's a 6-year-old girl, it's the age that really is upsetting people. It's the age that's troubling, not the fact that this is a dude claiming that he is a female.
Today is my first day of having my living room as my playroom. And my Kodo is here with me, but I didn't have any friends over for the play date because it's COVID time. But
is anybody defending this, or is this just everybody just see this guy as like mentally ill? Like,
I'm having fun with Makoto, my cat, and with Franny. She's my baby. Anyways, I just wanted you to see I made a tutu with my sewing machine.
Oh no.
And it's for pretending to be a little fairy.
Oh no. Oh no. But here's the thing. Why not? Question to the left. Why not? Why can't this 60-year-old man be a 6-year-old girl? Why not? You say he's a man who can be a girl. Again, day 365 of girlhood means that you're getting calls from the President of the United States. So when is the Prime Minister of Britain, not Rishi Sunak, who actually has his head screwed on straight on this, maybe some of the former prime ministers, well, why don't they call up this guy and congratulate him on becoming a 6-year-old girl? I mean, the good news is that, according to the left, this means that he is basically immortal because he can just keep identifying as a younger and younger person. He'll never die. That's very exciting. None of this ideology makes sense because it is all pagan crap and it has nothing to do with reality. Okay, time for some things that I hate.
Why are you on the lowling? This is the society you want. Totally normal.
I'm sorry, hold on. Fuck, I'm saying this out loud because I'm never going to do this, but this is such a good idea. Imagine doing a show. It would be so much fun to do a show like Fresh and Fit, but instead you just bring on guys instead of girls. You bring on like frat boys. Oh my God. There would be like an infinite number of ideas you could spin off in terms of like shit you could do on this. It would be so fucking funny. Like when you go around the table, instead of asking like what's your body count and your relationship status, like imagine you go around and you ask like what's your height and your IQ for every single guy at the table. And then sometimes on episodes like Fresh and Fit, Myron bring out like a scale to like weigh girls. Imagine a guy's like 6 foot, and then you bring out like in the middle of the episodes like we're gonna measure your height for all of you. And then it would be so much fun to go. You know how Sneeko You know, Sneeko says shit like, oh, name 3 countries, name 3 countries. It would be so funny to go around a table of frat boys and be like, I want you to calculate in your head with no calculator what is 17.5% of 100, right? And like see how many of them can actually get it right as you go around the table. Or like you're traveling 80 miles. Or wait, what's the one question that fucks everybody up? How long does it take you to travel 60 miles if you're going 60 miles an hour? Is that the one? Like, it would be so fucking hilarious to do this with a bunch of fucking frat boys. Destiny, wait, what? That's hard for everyone? Oh, wait, what? Did I just get my first contestant? Oh, no. Oh, no.
You're going 70 miles per hour. How long would it take you to drive 70 miles?
70, nigga?
Oh, why? Why 70? Explain to the camera why.
Because 1 times 70, 70.
Well, who the fuck said anything about 1? Where did 1 come from? You're going 70 miles per hour.
Oh, 1 hour.
You're going.
I feel like there's a video in a car where somebody does this for a long time. Oh my god, hold on. I'm sorry, I just have so many good ideas. Imagine you have like a soundboard where you push the buttons like Myron has, but all of the buttons are like quips from things like the women on The View say. Fuck, that would be so fucking good. God damn. Okay, sorry.
There is a human named Jules Hoffman. Jules Hoffman is a woman, but Jules Hoffman says that she is a they. According to Jules, the reason this is of relevance is because Jules Hoffman is one of the stars of a wildly popular YouTube channel for babies and toddlers called Songs for Littles. The host of this is apparently a person named Miss Rachel. Now, I've never watched this, nor would I expose my children to a woman who says that she is a they, not 3-year-old children. Nope. But this is what is it? So Miss Rachel used to be just a place where you would hear a cute song to your 3-year-old. Now it's
wait, fuck. Oh, dude, August's gonna hate me so much because he wanted me to watch this video. Now I'm getting hardcore distracted. I'm so sorry.
All right, we're traveling from Logan to Boise, and I just proposed a math question to my beautiful wife, Chelsea. And the question, very difficult to calculate, is if you are traveling 80 miles per hour, how long does it take you to go 80 miles? Okay, what do you think, Chel? Let's go through the process. What do you think?
Well, if I run the mile in about 9 minutes.
Wait, what about the tire turning thing you were talking about? Do you think that affects it?
Well, I'm just guesstimating probably about, it turns about 400 times in a mile.
That's just calculate, like guessing calculations?
Yeah, I don't know how you would work that out.
It'd be tough.
Yeah, so I don't know, because if I run a mile in like 9 minutes, then I mean, but that's when I'm out of shape. When I'm really in shape at like 7 minutes is when I'm like really in shape, and that takes me a mile, and we're going 80 miles. I'm running at about probably 10 miles per hour, if that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fast for a human being, I think. But, I mean, it's got to take at least like 58 minutes or something.
58 minutes? It's pretty close.
To go 80 miles.
Do you want to know what the answer is?
What?
The weird thing is, what algorithm is she using in her head where she actually calculates it to be fairly close? Or is she just pulling that number out of her ass and she just happens to be closer than she ever really deserves to be for that calculation?
Think about 80 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So how long does it take me to go 80 miles if I'm traveling 80
You're
miles
driving
per
fast. You
hour?
are driving faster than a minute a mile.
Yeah, totally.
So I would whack 80 in half, and that's 40. Because, I mean, you're probably going 2 minutes a mile.
Just whack it in half.
Well, depends on, I mean, some cars' tires turn faster than others.
Yeah, definitely affects it.
Because, I mean, I think a truck probably is slower because it weighs more.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it also matters if your car's a stick or automatic.
Okay, Chal.
What?
Think about the term miles per hour.
MPH.
MPH. So if I say I'm driving 80 miles per hour, that means I'm going to go 80 miles in an hour.
No, you are not, because you are driving faster than a mile a minute. I can run 1 mile in 7 minutes, and that's a 10. Okay? So, I mean, that's booking it too.
Okay, so if I'm going 60 miles per hour,
then it'll take about 30 minutes. I would just cut it right in half.
I'm trying to explain the answer, but...
Well, you are not making sense because I make sense. You do not make sense. My car's tires may be they're kind of a little flat, so they may not move as fast as like a police officer's tires that are full, but
Okay, Chal, the
my
answer...
tires are turning maybe, I'd say about 400 times per mile.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the answer. You ready for the
No, they
answer?
gotta be like 1,000.
You ready for the answer? The answer to...
You don't know the answer.
I do know the
You
answer.
can guesstimate just like I guesstimate.
I'm not guesstimating. I'm using math and science. I'm using my own term. Okay, Chel. The answer to the question, how long does it take me to travel 80 miles if I'm driving 80 miles per hour? The answer is 1 hour. Your guess was close.
So say you drive 60 miles per hour at 60 miles. You want to go 60 miles at 60 miles per hour. Is that an hour?
Yep.
What about 40 miles at 40 miles per hour?
Then you will go 40 miles in 1 hour.
No, you cut that in half. You're going more than a mile a minute. Okay, let's time. Right now, let's time and see. Is not filming?
Uh-oh. Oh, can you stop filming? Uh-oh. Oh no, a multi-hit clip. Bro. Nobody needed to hear that. Chill. Okay, sorry. What's up, Benny Boy?
A place where you can learn about why gender is non-binary.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, everyone. We're gonna have so much fun. I'm so glad you came today. Are you ready to sing? Are you ready to play? Hooray! It's time for songs for littles. Songs for littles. It's time for songs for littles.
Okay, so this is a lady singing. Okay, right? I mean, unless that is a man with a very high voice, which is not. That is a lady singing. So what are the pronouns? So Hoffman uses they, them pronouns. And that's, I'm sure, very exciting for your tiny child who doesn't understand what the hell is going on. And yes, distinctions matter to small children and to everyone else in life. But now we have an entire piece in the Washington Post saying that you must expose your child to this or you're a bad parent. Quote, Hoffman is one of the stars of Songs for Littles. Using their niece and nephews, which they refer to as nibblings, as inspiration, Hoffman belts out tunes on
Nibblings? Is that what they said? Nibblings?
Pizza, dinosaurs, and the Hokey Pokey. The channel's most popular video has been viewed more than 290 million times. But the channel has come under fire recently after some parents took issue with Hoffman's identity, asserting falsely the show introduced the concept of they-them pronouns to their young audience. A video on TikTok criticizing the show has been...
When I see my kid walk through the door, I'm like, what up, my nibbler? Every time.
Viewed more than 400.
You know they made that name just because they wanted to say that, guaranteed.
Times.
These are people that rap to the songs with their windows rolled all the way up when they're driving through traffic. 100%.
Hoffman said the backlash was a surprise and sent them on a roller coaster of emotion as they waded through hundreds of TikToks and commenters, some critical and others supportive. Apparently, the show's star, Rachel Griffin-Accurso, educator and songwriter, announced she was taking a break from social media to address her own mental health after the fallout. Hurtful videos and comments, no matter how much attention they get, will not bring you what you want. Only love can do that.
Aww.
Oh, how radically exciting. Again, how about this? You should be screening pretty much everything your kid watches. The fact that there are people who wish to present themselves to your child in a guise that is deliberately confusing to your child, the fact that that exists means that you just have to police it harder. And parents who refuse to police this material for their kids should not be surprised when their kids become very confused about these things, because they are inherently confusing, because they do not make sense, because they are not true. It turns out that Jules Hoffman is a woman, not a they-them. It's just amazing, amazing stuff. So we'll get to that momentarily. First, it's time to talk to you about Daily Wire's most trusted privacy partner and premier sponsor of my show, ExpressVPN. Are you aware your browsing data is constantly being tracked and monitored?
I didn't
Have
know
you ever
that.
stopped to think about who has access to that information and what they might actually do with it? Well, if you're like most people, you probably haven't thought about that a whole hell of a lot, but the truth is, your browsing data can reveal a lot about you, your interests, your habits, your location, even your identity. Every time you visit a website, click on a link, or make a purchase online, you're leaving a digital trail that can be monetized by advertisers and
That
data
happens
brokers.
on DGG.
They use that information to target you with ads and promotions that are tailored specifically to you. The more data they have, the more
I collect
accurately
all
they can
your
target
data.
you. Plus, again, big tech would love your info, so would big government, so would hackers. They all want that stuff. That's why I use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN encrypts my internet traffic, hides my browsing data from prying eyes. This makes it way more difficult for anybody to intercept my data or track my activity online. I love ExpressVPN. It's super easy to use. One button to click to download it. You click again, it is now activated. Lightning fast speeds, unlimited bandwidth, easy to use software. ExpressVPN is the perfect choice for anyone looking to protect their online privacy and security. Secure online activity today. Visit expressvpn.com/Ben. That's expressvpn.com/Ben. You can get next
That's
for 3
not gonna
months for
help
free.
you.
That's expressvpn.com/Ben. It's very important that you have life insurance. It's just an important thing for you to do. God forbid something should happen to you. You got to make sure that your family is taken care of. This is why you need to head on over to Policy Genius right now. I have lots of life insurance on me. My business partners have life insurance. My wife has life insurance. It's the
What is that? I have lots of life insurance. What are you trying to say? Like, don't kill me.
responsible thing to do. Policy Genius can make it happen for you quickly and easily without spending a ton of money. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies starting at just $25 per month for $1 million in coverage. Some options offer coverage in as little as a week and avoid those unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius's licensed agents work for you, not the insurance companies, which means they don't have an incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can actually trust their guidance. No added fees. Your personal information remains private. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head over to policygenius.com/Shapiro. Click the link in the description. Get your free life insurance quotes. See how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/Shapiro. Again, policygenius.com/Shapiro. They'll make sure that you get the life insurance you need at a price you can afford. Policygenius.com/Shapiro. Make sure that you competitively shop. One of the most important things you can have, life insurance through Policy
what was the link?
Genius. And so, what the poll show is that Joe Biden is wildly unpopular. Like, very, very, very unpopular. However, the Republican nominee, only 60% of Americans think Trump should not run for president.
Did you
Only
celebrate
35%
the 25th of
think
April? They did the most based revolution ever. If you didn't, you get fucked.
that Donald Trump should run for president of the United States. Not only that, the leading feelings that people have with regards to the possibility of a Trump-Biden rematch is exhaustion, which, frankly, I can't imagine why. I can't imagine why. There's a survey, again, from Yahoo News at YouGov, and it found that 38% of Americans chose exhaustion after being shown a list of 8 feelings and asked to select all that comes to mind when considering another Biden versus Trump campaign.
True.
And among registered voters, that number is even higher, 44%. The other numbers? Fear, 29%, sadness, 23%, hope, 23%, anger, 23%, excitement, 16%, pride, 8%, or gratitude, 7%. Yes, Americans are very positive about another Trump-Biden matchup. It's what the people want. They demand it. And this is one of the big problems that you have with the weakening of parties, counterintuitively. The weakening of both the Republican and the Democratic parties means that basically the bases of both parties and the more involved bases of both parties tend to have outsized influence compared to the rest of the American population, which means very often that candidates who are not wildly popular with the American public end up being the nominees of their parties. Trump, for what it's worth, is currently wrapping up a bunch of congressional endorsements. Now, you would imagine, listen, he's the former president of the United States. He's the Republican frontrunner. He should be. He's also the only major candidate to have announced thus far. You have Nikki Haley, who's announced, and you have Vivek Ramaswamy, who's announced. DeSantis is not yet announced. But Trump is racking up endorsements, particularly in Florida. Again, not a major shock, also because if you are a state or congressional politician, what you don't want is Trump attacking you. If Trump asks you for an endorsement, the safest thing to do is give it to him, because if you don't endorse DeSantis, DeSantis isn't going to attack you, but Trump will if you don't.
True.
So here's Fox News covering that.
I'll be asking everybody to support President Trump, and Ron DeSantis hasn't declared he's running for president yet. I think he's a great governor of Florida. So if I were Florida, I would give DeSantis a third term and everybody get behind President Trump.
You can't.
With us now, Congressman Carlos Jimenez, who was kind enough to take time.
Wait, he just said you can't. Our governor's term limited? I have no idea. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Oh wait. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Depends on the state. Gotcha.
Time to let us know where he's going and where he's heading and who he's supporting. Congressman, who is it?
Well, I'm announcing that I'll be supporting President Donald J. Trump for president in 2024. I think he gives us the best chance of winning.
Nope.
He had a solid track record as president, and yesterday at the dinner, he laid out a solid plan for the future and where we need to go.
Okay, so this idea that Trump gives Republicans the best chance of winning is belied by pretty much all of the polls at this point, as well as the fact that he already ran an election campaign against Joe Biden, and it didn't go amazing. He's not the president of the United States right now. Trump's team is focused in on Ron DeSantis like a laser beam. According to Rolling Stone, a Trump advisor says, quote, Team Trump does not just want to beat him. Team Trump wants to humiliate him maybe more than they've ever wanted to humiliate anybody on the national stage. That is what is driving a lot of this. Now, the problem for Trump is that the angle that he's taking with regard to DeSantis is one that does not make the base particularly enthusiastic. He is currently attacking DeSantis with alacrity from the left, almost entirely from the left, because it's impossible to get to DeSantis' right. So instead, he's attacking him from the left. So over the weekend, Trump did a speech in which he ripped on DeSantis repeatedly. The important thing here is really not the attacks. The important thing is the crowd reaction. Listen to how quiet it is.
Uh-oh.
Except you don't see that tabulation. We did much better in 2020 in Florida. I got 1.2 million more votes than your successful governor's campaign. You know that. We got 1.2 million. Sir, I'd love to have your support, sir. I'd love to have your support. I'm down at about 3. I'd love to have your support. All right, let's think about it. And it was like a rocket ship after I gave it. Otherwise, right now, you'd have a lawyer someplace looking for business.
Okay, and...
Well, wait, I feel like there was applause there. No? I mean, maybe not a ton, but there was some.
And the crowd is pretty much silent there.
Wait, what? Am I mishearing?
Million more votes than your successful governor's campaign. You know that. We got 1.2 million.
Maybe it was way louder for other claps, so it's like a... Oh, not after the diss? I guess, but...
Sir, I'd love to have your support, sir. I'd love to have your support. I'm down at about 3. I'd love to have your support. All right, let's think about it. And it was like a rocket ship after I gave it. Otherwise, right now, you'd have a lawyer someplace looking for business.
Okay, and the crowd is pretty much silent there. Because the reality is that the base, unlike when Trump was attacking everybody back in 2016, when nobody actually liked any of the other candidates, this is the dirty secret. Nobody liked anybody else who was running in 2016. And so Trump had a bunch of baked-in advantages. People actually like Ron DeSantis' record of governance. And so Trump has been relegated to attacking DeSantis from the left. He put out a statement, a lengthy statement, over the weekend, in which he said that Florida has now become among the worst states to live, or to find economic opportunity, or to work, or to retire, or to raise a family. No one believes this. No one. Okay, I moved my family.
Man, I've heard. I've only been here for a little bit of time, but I've heard a little bit on the radio, and I hear people complain on the internet as well. I thought that the cost of living in Miami has actually fucking skyrocketed, such to the point that I thought even DeSantis has made statements about it. I thought that cost of living in Florida has actually gotten out of control in a lot of the major cities. I could be wrong, but I feel like I'd heard DeSantis mention that. Actually, wait, hold on. I don't know why I keep saying this. DeSantis, cost of living, Florida. This was back in February. DeSantis blames Florida's skyrocketing housing costs on Biden. Is it all the president's fault? Like, I feel like cost of living has gotten pretty high around here, but...
family to Florida in large part because Governor DeSantis has done an excellent job. And if Andrew Gillum were the governor of Florida, I don't know that I would move my family here. I didn't just move my family. My parents moved, my in-laws moved, 2 of my sisters and their families moved. There's a reason that over the course of the last several years, about 700,000 people have left their home states and moved to Florida. There's a reason why Florida is the fastest growing state in America, and it is not because it is a terrible place to live. This dog just does not hunt. It's a real problem for Donald Trump, actually, that it does not hunt if the issues matter at all. So DeSantis, for his part, he is finally starting to open up the guns on Trump, and he has a pretty good angle here. His angle here is that Trump blew it on COVID. That Trump was too weak on COVID, that Anthony Fauci is only a household name because Donald Trump appointed him and then left him in place and didn't actually have any control over his own policy because he didn't know what to do. So here's Ron DeSantis over the weekend saying, listen, when it came to COVID, I took control because that's what leaders do. They take control.
And to me, leadership is having the courage to make difficult decisions in the teeth of opposition and criticism. A leader must have the confidence to stand all alone if need be. And so for us, as I got into office, COVID presented that situation for us because we were in a situation, the third largest state in the country, one of the highest percentage of elderly, economy based on tourism, which we needed travel to continue. So this situation was an existential threat to our state. But I made the judgment, leaders take the bull by the horns and make the decisions for themselves. They don't subcontract out their leadership to health bureaucrats like Dr. Fauci.
Damn.
That is going to be a very rich vein for attack from DeSantis toward Trump. Because he doesn't have to actually say anything about Trump. He can just say, listen, when it comes to actually formulating policy and being a leader.
Finally, I will say, I mean, obviously I like Fauci more than Trump, but I don't like that you fucking Republican fucking cucks, by the way. Oh my God, I just built this in the wrong place. And by the way, you are a cuck if you're a Republican, okay? You cucky Republican fucks, okay? You're a cuck for saying this. The fact that so many of you let Trump get away with that, oh, I couldn't help it, it was the deep state, oh, I couldn't help it, blah, blah. When these were his own appointees and he had the ability to change up at any point in time, the fact that you let Trump escape any responsibility so often by blaming the people around him when he could choose who's around him is such a cucked position to take. That is so fucking cucked, okay? Fuck you guys for letting him get away with that.
I was right on COVID, and you're attacking me from the left. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show can...
Although I will say, yeah, somebody in Rumble chat, YouTube chat, throw that up. Like, for talking about being a leader and having an economy based on tourism, fighting with Disney probably ain't it. That's probably not the best. Probably not the best way to go there, but. Wait, no, not that one. No. Fuck, these all suck shit. Wait, is nobody collecting experience for my... the character collecting experience for the things must have died.